Welcome Year 9 students to math today. We're looking at exercise 2D. I've set you some work and it's basically the skill of expanding brackets. So I'm going to do a few examples for you here on this video which should hopefully assist you. Some of it's quite easy and some of the ones towards the end of the exercise require a little bit more thought. So let's get straight into it. Okay, when you have a number outside a bracket and you want to expand it, what you do is you first of all times it by the first letter or number in the bracket. So our next line is going to be 2 times a, which is 2a, and then you multiply it by the next one. Don't forget to look at the sign. In this case it's a positive 2b, so we're going to have plus 2b. Let's try the same logic with the next one. We've got a positive 5. We know it's positive because there's no sign with it. And we're timesing by positive a, so we're going to have a 5 times a, or 5a. I'm going to times it by this minus 2b. So minus 2 times 5 is minus 10, so I'm going to have minus 10b. And finally, I will now times it by the last number. This time, I've got 5 multiplied by 3, and it's a positive 3, so it's going to be a positive 15 times c. 5 times 3 is 15, 15c is what we have. Let's try the same logic with the next one. Notice this time I've got a negative 4y, so I'm going to times that by the first number. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. 4 times 3 is 12, negative times positive is negative. And I've got an x and a y in here, so it's going to be negative 12, and I'm just going to go xy. You might write yx, and that's exactly the same thing. We just tend to put our letters in alphabetical order. And then I'm going to go minus 4y multiplied by minus 2. Now a minus times a minus is a positive, and 4 times 2 is 8, so it's positive 8, and don't forget to put the y in. In 2, we're going to have to do a little bit more thinking. So we do the same thing. Expand the first bracket, so I get 3x plus 3 times y is 3y. Now I'm going to expand the second bracket. Positive 2x, so that's plus 2 times x. And then the last part is positive 2 times minus y, which is minus 2y. And at this point, we then start gathering our like terms. I've got this one and this one. So 3 plus 2x, so this is going to be 5x, and then I've got a positive 3y and a negative 2y. So all up, that is going to be positive y, positive 1y. Okay, let's move over to 2e. Now, sometimes these ones trip people. What does this mean, just having a minus outside the bracket? It's like minus 1. So we go minus times m, and that's going to give me minus m. I'm going to go minus times minus 5. Minus times a minus is positive, so it's going to be positive 5. Now we're going to do this bracket. I've got positive 4m times m. Now be careful here, we're going to use our index laws. M times m is m squared, so this one will be 4m squared. Right, don't forget when you're multiplying with numbers with the same base, we've got an m and an m, they're the same base. We're going to add the indices, and both have index 1. So when we add them together, we get 2. Then the last one is 4m times 2, and that's going to be 8m. Now when we sort this all out, we gather our like terms again. So start with your highest power. So this is going to be 4m squared. And I'm not going to write the plus in front of it because I'm putting this first, so you don't need to if you put it first. Then I'm going to gather my m terms. I've got an 8m and a minus m, so altogether that's 7m. 8 minus 1, right? And then the last step is grabbing this guy here, the positive 5, and so I've done that one now. Okay, next one, similar kind of logic here. So the first line is going to be 6x. 6 times minus 3 is negative 18. Then we're going to expand the second bracket, so it's positive 5 times x, so that's plus 5x. And then the next one is positive 5 times positive 2, which is positive 10. We gather our like terms. A 6x and a 5x is 11x. And then we gather these ones. We've got a minus 18 and a positive 10. That adds up to minus 8 overall, and that's our answer there. Now, the next one, a little bit more tricky. We're going to use our index rules here. X times x squared. We add the indices because the base is the same, so it's going to be x cubed. Then x times minus 1 is minus x. Let's go to the second bracket now. We've got an x squared and we're timesing by x. Again, use your index rules. If it doesn't have an index here, it just means to the power of 1. So we're going to get x to the power of 2 plus 1, 3, x cubed. Then we're going to have x squared times 2, which is 2x squared. Then we're going to go minus x times 5, which is minus 5x. And finally, minus x times minus x squared. Minus times minus is positive. X times x squared is x cubed. Now, we're going to start with our biggest power, which is x cubed. Got one here. Got one here. And got one here. They're all positives. So I'm saying we have 3 lots of x cubed. Sorry, I don't know if I said squared or cubed, but it's cubed. Now we look for our squareds. That's there's just one of those, so that's just going to go down to our next line like that. And then the next thing we're going to deal with is our x terms. So we've got one here, and we got one here. A minus 1 and minus 5, so that's minus 6x. And that's that one done. Okie dokie. Last one. This is a tricky one, and this is one that I set for you. You have to use your index rules. We've got a p to the minus 2, p to the power of minus 2 times p cubed. Add your indices. So it's just going to be p to the power of 1, which you know is p. Then we're going to go p to the negative 2 times negative p to the power of 4. First of all, I know it's going to be a minus because a minus times a positive is minus. Then I add my indices. 4 plus minus 2 is positive 2. Now let's look at this next bracket. I've got a positive p to the power of minus 1 times a pq. Now, that p is a p to the power of 1, and so I'm going to add the indices. P to the power of minus 1 times p to the power of 1, that cancels out because that becomes p to the power of 0, which is 1. So I'm left with q. And then the next one, p to the power of 1 times p squared, a. We add the indices and that gives us positive p a. Hopefully that was a. I don't know if it was q or a. I may have copied it down wrong. But we'll go with what we've got here. And I would probably just rearrange this and go minus p squared plus p. I'm going to drop that 1 index because you don't tend to write it. Plus p a plus q, or something like this. Okay? Well, I hope that makes sense to you guys. Have a go at the exercise. If you are having trouble with any ones in particular, let me know. All right then, good luck.